So I thought I'd show you the map to begin with, just so you get kind of an idea. We're talking about things where things are, as that might be a question. So as you can see, there's three towns. We have yellow sun, green trees, and blue skies. They're slightly different sizes to account for the different amount of space there is. They will all have a town marquee, a town library, which I don't think, or maybe they are on here, but they're not marked as like a symbol. Yeah, so you can see the coloured square in each of those is the town library. But thinking more about production type things, the W's are water points. So as you can see, every village will be closer to a water point this time. And what else is kind of a key thing? You've got your toilets and your showers on there too, kind of like between all the towns, and also some extra toilets in the central area. And yeah, you've got kind of a officey area down near the entrance, where there's a site services office, among other things. I think that's kind of the key stuff there. But yeah, we can come back to that if any questions involve like specific villages or anything like that. So yeah, now to hand over to Ryan for a bit more detail on the toilets.
Hello. Yeah, so this year we're getting compost toilets, which are much more pleasant to use than the Portaloos and trailer toilets we had last time. Much nicer smelling and much more sustainable. They're effectively long drops. For anyone who hasn't used one before, there's a wheelie bin underneath that collects everything, and the urine will get separated. We ask that people, when they're doing a number two, put some sawdust, which will be provided in with it, and that's what helps keep the smell down. We have many more than last time. We have 50 seats in total, whereas last time I think we only had 40. So there's more of them. They've got a bigger capacity. They're much nicer to use. So all in all, it's a very big improvement on last time, because I know that was a big issue for a lot of people. We'll also have an accessible toilet unit with every single block. So they'll be spread out for everyone who needs them from an accessibility perspective, which will be locked with a radar key. So anyone with an accessibility requirement, I believe the accessibility team are sorting out allocation of radar keys. Yeah, that's the toilets. Showers, kind of, say similar as last time. We're just getting traditional shower trailers. They're a really lovely company, and they'll all be set up before anyone arrives. So first day after your long travel, there should be hot showers ready and waiting if you need them. There'll be one block for just Yellowtown, and then a bigger block that will be for Green and Bluetown. And again, both of those blocks will have accessible units, which is the picture on the right-hand side, available. But yeah, should be relatively simple and straightforward. We will be putting kind of squeegee scraper things in each block, hopefully, and we ask that people just do a quick wipe down after each use, just to try and keep them a bit cleaner and a little bit less slippy for people as they go in afterwards.
So yeah, just to speak a bit about the equipment, each village will need a marquee to fit in everyone in the village.
Sorry. Is now a good time to ask a couple of toilet questions?
Sure, if you like. We're going to open up for questions at the end, but if you want to go straight to toilets, yeah, sure.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, so we're in village 3, which is a reasonable distance from the toilets. So we are expecting to bring our own toilets and then presumably empty them into the composting toilets.
So with where villages need their own toilets for people who can't do the distance or nighttime, obviously we understand that some people do need that. That's fine. The toilets can't take the blue Elsan chemical liquid. So we're asking people to not bring that unless it's absolutely necessary. There is a way that we could deal with that if it is completely necessary, but it's much more expensive for us, and this is already, quite an expensive part of our budget. What we're recommending instead is either just having your standard toilet without the chemical in it, or you can get a sustainable chemical, a green liquid. I've not heard of it before pre-camp, but somebody else has pointed that out. Or someone suggested using compostable bags with your own supply of sawdust, which we can help with. And that can all be just put straight down the compost toilets. That's fine. Just not the blue Elsan chemical.
Okay. If you were able to get a reference to the acceptable green biochemical, that would be very useful.
Sure. Yeah. I'll put that on a list for a kind of KE info pack that I believe will be happening at some point.
Thank you. And
No
then
worries.
do we need to arrange a cleaning rota? So last time we had kind of responsibility for the block of portaloos that were next to our village to keep them clean.
That will be coming up in a later slide. We've kind of planned everything out, but yeah, that's a bit further through the presentation.
Okay, my bad for squawking.
That's
Thank you very much.
No worries. Yeah, so just to talk a bit about the equipment each village will need. All the usual stuff, marquee, kitchen, sleeping tents. Obviously, people are used to bringing those, but bear in mind that if your village has an international group or a newer group in, they might need a bit of help with that. We're also saying ideally bring an extra sheltered space. So it's quite an open site without much shade. And so if it's very hot, that could be useful, also could be useful for rain. I know some districts kind of always have a craft tent or another tent for activities anyway. It's not 100% necessary, but yeah, if you do have that available, we would recommend bringing it. And also tables and seating. So that's tables and benches or chairs. You can order those through us, and that form's going to go out soon. I've put the costs on the slide as is up to date now. So it won't cost very much, and we just order it like as part of the big order we're doing and give you those when you arrive on site. Yeah, like I say, there'll be a form for that soon. Another thing that we'll also ask about in the form is a fire bowl. You can't have fires on the ground on the site, so you need to bring something to have it off the ground in. And we're saying every 2 villages will need that. We want to limit the fires a bit this time, for environmental reasons and also for like socializing with other villages. It's nice to share them. So yeah, we'll ask about that in the form. And another thing that will be in the form as well is about gas. So we'll be able to refill Cala gas bottles, whether that's propane or butane, but we need to know which in advance. And you should bring full bottles to last for at least the first day, ideally longer, so that we've got some time to kind of sort out refills where needed. But yeah, if you don't have any bottles, I know there might be a couple of villages that don't have those. We should be able to sort them. Just let us know. And then bins. So you ideally need your own bins, but we are looking into potentially trying to hire some. And we'll provide bin bags. It's quite specific, the info on bin bags, so that we don't get charged loads extra for putting things in the wrong bins. So we'll provide the bin bags, but yeah, you need kind of bins if you want bins and to not just have bags tied to whatever. And then the last thing is just that if you have any extra equipment that your village doesn't need, please do let us know whether you can fit that in your van you're bringing or not. Because maybe we'd quite like that for the central area or something, or for a village that doesn't have things. And we might be able to send a van if needed. Also, if you're happy to drive a van, we're kind of looking for enough people to drive all the stuff that we need to site at the moment. So that would be really helpful. Yeah, I've just seen there's something in the chat. I don't know if that's from ages ago. Food waste recycling. I don't think so. Do you know about that, Ryan?
Yeah, we're doing food waste.
Oh, we are. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. was actually a question I had when I was writing this presentation. I was like, how many different bins are there? I'm not sure about that, but maybe Ryan does know that already.
We'll have general waste, general recycling, which we can specify more specifically what that is going to be in a KE guidebook. We recommend people don't bring glass in general, but we understand it might happen. So we do have provisions for glass recycling and then food waste. So just 4 different ones. Ideally 3, because ideally no glass, but it happens.
So I guess that would be 4 bins per village, but some of those wouldn't necessarily need to be like a whole bin if you're not really bringing glass, or I mean, recyclables could probably just go in a plastic bag or whatever. Cool. Okay. And then the last thing is the thing on the clans. So this time we are asking that every village has a KE, a keeper of the environment. And that person will need to go to site services office on the first day of camp, so that they get the bin bags for the village and they get instructions on sorting the waste so they can manage that in the village. And then the village waste should be taken to the town's bin collection point before 2 p.m. each day. Then there's a bit about what we said before. So no harsh chemicals in any toilets you're bringing yourself. Has to be that green one, or we can provide the sawdust so you can do it kind of the same way and then throw it down the long drops. And then in terms of the clans, we're asking for just 4 volunteers on 4 occasions during camp. So it's not necessarily a whole clan. If you don't want to make a clan do it, if you prefer just to choose a few individuals to do it, that's also fine. But yeah, there's a rota for that in that table. So every village will do it 4 times. I guess one of the key things is that we do want some people on that last leaving day. Hopefully every village can find 4 people, including 2 adults, that are not leaving before 11 a.m. that are not needed to clear up their own stuff, that can do that. But if you can factor that into your planning for leaving, that would be great. Because that will be quite a high pressure day in terms of getting all the rubbish sorted. And as it says, that will be for bin emptying, toilet cleaning, litter picking, and anything else of that kind of nature that we might need help with. They'll meet at the site services office at 2, and then there might be a few volunteers who are sent away to come back later because the bin collection will be later. But most people will be doing their duties then. And we're just hoping that doing it this way and kind of planning it in advance will reduce the load for site services, because it was really, really hard last time for those volunteers to get everything done. And we really want the toilets to be kept nice and clean, the showers to be kept nice and clean, and also for rubbish disposal to be easy and green, because last time it was really, really hard to sort all the rubbish at the end. And I've just put the socials here just in case any of you aren't on them yet. Would recommend following, not necessarily for site services specific stuff, although there will be some stuff on there. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.